Yo, what's going on, guys? So today we're going to be talking about, in my opinion, the only other build that you would be using other than Grapple. And I know there's a ton of you Grapple mains just like me. I'm sure you guys like Stim, maybe some Phase. You don't see too many other abilities, let's just be honest. There is like a top 3, and Grapple, I'd say, is way above the others. But this is the one time I would actually say, no, this build is actually top tier, and I switch to it more often than any other class other than Grapple. So this beats, for me, Phase, Stim, all that stuff. So let me tell you why you would be using this build and a little bit more in depth of why I ended up coming down with this build in particular. Now there is a little bit of leeway because if you guys have seen some of my prior videos, I have talked about how I like the longevity and the flexibility that the Grapple gives you against Titans. If you haven't gotten it yet, this is a Titan specific build. But the thing is, you have to know when to use it if you want to get maximum effectiveness from it. And that's why I'm saying that this build is good for 2 reasons. First of all, it's actually top tier, like Grapple top tier in the right situations. And second, it's fun. It's a really fun build. It's probably the only other build like Grapple that I would say is effective as well as just extremely fun to use. So let me tell you why I ended up with Invis instead of Grapple for this build. My main reason for it is that it actually lets you execute the entire kit with more certainty. If you've ever used C4, you know that it's actually hard to land these things correctly. It takes a while to detonate them, and if you miss, that's it. Like, there's just no getting a satchel back. The recharge time on it is also very high. So there's a couple of things that you guys may be talking about to yourselves like, well, why wouldn't you put on your ordnance kit? To me, you need the invis more than you need the extra satchels. The invis is what lets you close the distance on these Titans and guarantee that you get the satchel on there, and then you're able to maneuver yourself for the next step, which is to unload your Thunderbolt and of course also unload your SMR. If you are invis already, throwing a satchel does not reveal you. To the more observant Titan though, they will see the satchel fly through the air. If they're observant, they're going to see you that way. You also have to, well, we'll get into that in the kit. You'll see me go through the things that we're going to look at. But for now, let's just focus on this. But Invis, I think, is the proper choice versus the Grapple because it just makes it easier for you to set up. It's very safe. And plus, this build is only supposed to be used, I would say, for it to be top tier with 3 Titans and up. Because this build overall is not strong against pilots. The SMR does hurt a lot, but it's harder to land. So let's just be realistic that this is definitely not a pilot build. It can take out pilots, but that is definitely not where its strength is. That's why I say if you're going to use this build, you wait for at least 3 Titans on the opposing team and up. The more Titans they have, the more damage this does because Satchels and the Thunderbolts can hit multiple Titans at once if you throw them correctly. That's why you want that extra reassurance of being able to set up correctly that Invis gives you versus just trying to fly in there and hoping you don't get killed when using the Grapple. So that's why I'm going to settle with Invis and say that you should also take the Power Cell, which is the perk that lets you get your ability faster. It just recharges your Invis faster. I always use it with the Grapple. I think really you should use that pretty much all the time. It doesn't matter what ability you're using. The whole point is to be able to engage Titans safely while having Invis available. So let me show you the next part of this build. A lot of people would assume to take Titan Hunter. Personally, I'm not a fan. The thing is, Invis doesn't work without being able to hide your jump jets. That's the main reason I'm able to hit so many pilots with my ion when they eject, even though they're using the cloaking, because then they're not running a low profile, which to me just does not make any sense. If you're running Invis, you need to run low profile. If not, they can see your jump jets, and to me that just doesn't make any sense. The 10% is also only if you kill Titans. Even if you don't kill a Titan with this build, the amount of DPS that you put out adds to your Titan meter so much. You don't need to kill them outright. Yes, that's a bonus, but I think that the low profile is the perk you're going to want to go for. So let's just go ahead and summarize the build for you. SMR, Cloak, Satchels, Thunderbolt. Laser, I would not say so because we're already going to be pretty close because we're really trying to land the Satchels. That is the key component of this build, is landing those Satchels and making sure they really connect. The rest is just unloading the Thunderbolt and then unloading your SMR if you have the opportunity to. You really don't want to die because you get so much bonus meter by just doing all this damage that if you don't die, even if you don't complete the kills and you manage to get away, Then you can just usually finish up by killing some grunts, reapers, all that stuff, because this build just destroys all of that. One satchel plus a little bit of your SMR kills a reaper. It is probably one of the safest ways to build up your meter while doing it quickly and efficiently. So this build overall is great for taking out titans and grunts, but you have to remember that you want a lot of titans on the field before you activate this kit. Alright, let's get into some of the examples. So before you activate this kit, you want to know two things. How many titans is there, and what kind of pilots do they have? What kind of level is it? Some levels are just a lot easier for you to get in there against titans than others. Some require a lot more planning. Some you can actually just fly in there, and I know I'm like, usually you want to be safe about it, but some levels are, like that are smaller like this one, you can afford to actually just go in there and trade out. Drop your kit, throw your Thunderbolt, get some SMR off. If you die, okay, you're going to be back there in like the next 5-10 seconds, depending on how quick you are. Do it again, and by then you'll probably have your Titan back, because the whole point is really to just get your own Titan back. That's the whole point of this build. Like, it's not meant to be used throughout the whole game. You should be switching off between this and your main. I think this is probably the second best kit in the game, honestly. And this thing right here is really important. The satchels have a really slow activation time, and second, they also have to touch the ground before they activate. It's a silly thing, but that's true. So all these things just add to the time where the satchels are not detonating. The only exception to that rule is if it hits any, well, they can actually be shot by opponents. Sometimes they'll blow it up in their own faces. Scorch is notorious for this when he's holding up his flame shield. It activates the satchel immediately. So does smoke. So if you see a Titan that's trying to hide in their smoke, just throw your satchel, it detonates immediately. It is a great way for you to get your Titan meter back. And just from this, you can see this approach. It took about a minute, and I did die in between where I made the cut. I was making the run and a pilot killed me, so I lost my bonus, which sucks. But even then, because of how the strength of this kit against Titans and how much damage it does against Titans and how much, well, if you do a lot of damage, you get a lot of meter. That's just the way it works. So this build overall just gives you huge benefits against Titan. That's the whole point. Yeah, let's see how much damage this does. Wow. Okay, 2 satchels, it's gone. 1 satchel, well, it's already weak enough for you to kill it with whatever weapon you have. You don't even need an SMR to use your anti-Titan gun. Like, their health is just almost gone. You can also see you do flicker when you do some actions, and that's the same thing when you're throwing satchels, trying to melee, using boosts, things like that are gonna affect the way that people see you. So just kind of be aware of that. Invis is not completely hide you. You guys have seen in my video, you've seen that some guys are kicking up dirt behind them, splashing in puddles. There's a lot of things that they can do. This is something I also like to do if you want to get serious and get the most out of your Titan. Sometimes it's nice to actually weaken Titans and don't finish them off. Instead, getting your Titan and build up the meter for your core to just get that little extra bit out of it. I also do like the perk that, well, it's actually all combined. When you hide your jump jets, they also don't notice you on them. If you're going to be invis, you just get all the perks. Stealing batteries does a hell of a lot of damage. So that's why I still say low profile is probably one of the best kits in this game. Something that I get a lot of with this kit that I just don't get with my regular one is that I actually kill Titans outright with their pilot in it. Usually with the laser, they have enough time to react when they're already doomed. Even then, they have time to react to getting you. You can take a few extra hits from anti-Titan guns. The satchels will just flat out just kill you all of a sudden. It catches people by surprise. The burst damage is huge. If you manage to time it all out while they're already taking damage, or you throw it into their smoke, which is what happens when they're fighting other Titans and things like that, the damage just comes on so suddenly that you end up getting both of them, the pilot and the Titan, and that is just a great way for you to build up your core. To build up your Titan meter, because you're getting so much more bonus. It's rare that you actually get them both at once. Yes, it happens, especially in a Titan, you can execute the other Titan, but as a pilot, it's pretty rare that you're going to kill them outright like that. And right now, things are not going in my favor because I have a pilot and a Titan. I've always said that that is the worst combination to fight against. I'd rather fight against 2 Titans or 2 pilots. But when you have them mix, it's hard to hold them both off because the speed of the pilot with his attacks, with the other attacks coming from the Titan, it's just too much. But that's also when you want to take advantage of the build that I'm telling you about. If somebody is fighting another Titan, it even makes it easier for you to set up your C4 and unload your SMR as well as your Thunderbolt. All these things are so much easier to do if they're slightly distracted. So between them being distracted and you having invis, you should be pretty safe to take your time and really land these satchels, because you are going to get so much damage. You've seen it. You know it's possible. Honestly, this build is just amazing. And the thing that makes it so fun is, like, yes, the build is fun, but it also helps you even it out. No one likes getting destroyed by an abundance of Titans. The Titan advantage in this game is so crippling. And I just want to point something out to you. Right here, you're going to see this is something that's just going to happen a lot. You're going to miss with the C4, and now you have to make the decision. I tried to get some damage off because I'm like, I may just get nothing. And you can't wait around forever for them to walk into it. Sometimes, yes, take your time if you think they're going to be going that way, but sometimes you just got to cut your losses and try to get any damage that you can. The only other thing you really have to watch out for is that any build that is really good against Titans is typically just not as good against pilots. So, user beware. So if you're going to implement this build, usually I say 3 and up. You know, 4, even better. 5, I'm like, for sure it's time for this build. 6, you're practically invincible because you're invisible. They can't kill you like that. And then you have your own Titan. That's what you really want to do with this build. You want to get your Titan as fast as possible, and this build accomplishes that. Not only that, it can't just put you on an even footing by getting you your Titan back very fast. It can make you get ahead because all of a sudden they've lost their Titans and everything has gone your way now. Getting the Titan advantage back is huge in this game. Don't let them just get away with it. When you see opportunities to get, 2 guys, look how much. Between that, my SMR, okay, it's Titan time. Honestly, try this build, guys. You will not be disappointed. It is a lot of fun, and it is straight up lethal. And I think that's pretty much everything I had to tell you guys about this build. If you guys think that it needs a tweak, or you think that there's something else that would benefit it, let me know in the comment section. I honestly can't think of anything else. I don't think you should get any more specialized with this build. I don't think you should be trying to run extra satchels. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. I think that this is pretty much just the way it is. I think it's kind of like an Ion. There's only one build that really works for you to get the most effectiveness out of it. If you're wondering what I'm talking about the free mine, so you don't end up using energy. And what's my other one? Oh yeah, a second dash. For Ion, it just makes all the difference. It just evens it out against Titans that have too much mobility. It helps you space yourself, makes it so you don't get caught out of position. It just, the whole build just works, and I find that there really isn't much leeway unless you're trying to do something very specialized, like going up against a bunch of legions and then changing to extra energy from your Vortex shield or extra damage from it. Plus, landing C4s on people is just a lot of fun. And that's pretty much it for this build. I'll let you guys think about it in the comments, discuss it, see what you guys think. Otherwise, I just want to touch on what we were doing in the last video. You know, we're going to be taking all these user submitted clips. By the way, I've already pretty much caught up until today. And I gotta say, we got some great stuff. Like, the next episode for the salty kills and deaths is going to be amazing. You guys really contributed some great stuff. So that's pretty much it for me. So we'll do that next week. Again, thank you all for joining me. Paper cut to you, and I'll see you all next time.